On this episode, we're running some fuel lines. So we're not running all of them, but this is my new fuel filter. So this is a 100 micron wire mesh reusable fuel filter. You can take it apart, clean it, put it back together, and reuse it. How many times is that going to happen? Probably none, but you know, just in case. And then it's fitted with AN fittings, Army, Navy fittings, Dash fittings. So this is an example. These are Dash 10. These are huge. These are for the oil lines for a remote oil filter. But the fittings are tapered on one side and then flared on the other side, and this is how they seal. So it's kind of like your brake lines, but no more band clamps, hose clamps, all that other kind of stuff, because they fit in here permanently. And then when you want to take them off and service whatever you're doing, all you have to do is unscrew them and then put them back on. So it's a little bit easier to work with once it's done. And then this is nylon braided hose. They have stainless steel braided hose. You can get colors, all that other kind of stuff. But it's steel braided on the inside, so it's pressure resistant. And then the nylon coating is just on the outside. It looks cool, right? But you just can't use regular old fuel line because it's too squishy. So you have to use this kind of stuff with these fittings. You can use it without these fittings. So this original fuel line from the pump to the original fuel filter failed on me, so I replaced it with this braided line and then used fuel injection clamps to put it in, but I'm not using that filter anymore. And then when I ran this, now it's too short for this one. The thing about these is this has to be perfect. So the only play I'm going to have is down here where it hooks up to the fuel pump. So I want to measure, I want to see, and then I want to measure this. I want 2 more inches. So we're fine. And then I should, it's not loose enough. Dumbass. So these little doodads in here are going to be sharp because it's stainless. So, you know, be careful. So I want 2 more inches, and I didn't bring my measuring stick. And you're going to have to cut this with a wheel of death. You can't cut it with nippers or scissors or a utility knife because of the braid, the stainless braid. And I like to go all the way through, and then we'll burn the ends. Something like that. So it's a good clean cut. And then you can put a piece of tape around this, or you can just burn the edge. If you're using the stainless sleeve stuff, you're not going to be able to do it like that. It's going to be more complicated. That's why I like the nylon. It's faster and easier, a little bit less expensive. Let me double check. So this fitting is Dash 6, which is 3/8 or something like that. I don't know. There's numbers involved. But think of this end. Think of this end as your hose clamp. So this comes off, right? And then you put it over this, and you're going to kind of screw it down. And then you can see where it's flush on the end inside. So your hose clamp is on, and then this is going to go in here and spread all of this apart and create the seal. And you're going to put it in and twist it. Screw it in forever. It'll start pretty easy, and then it's rapidly going to increase in difficultness. So they make special tools for these fittings. They're aluminum, they're anodized, you're going to scratch them. That's all there is to it. But a 19mm works just fine. Like for this, we can sleeve it through and hold it. You could also put it in a vise. And then you just screw it in. So all the resistance is from the inside going inside this hose. It's spreading it out, and this is tapered, so it's more difficult, and the seal is right there. You can have space between the two pieces, or you can crank that all the way down if you want. But then it'll twist this way and then like that. So there's a little bit of play that way. There's hardly any play this way. So this thing is not gonna twist on you like a regular hose. So it's a little bit more difficult to work with, but once you get used to it, then you're okay. Back over to the car. So we just want to line it up. Tighten it up. Not too tight, because it'll bind. Okay. Let me make my lower connection because I want to see. So if we wanted, we could go buy a new fuel pump with an AN fitting on here, or we could plumb in a fitting right here and then screw in up here. But I mean, this works just fine for this part. Fuel injection fitting right here, because this end's pressurized, this end is suction. You start moving stuff around, you don't remember where it goes. So this is available over at Vic Autosports. And what I'm looking for is fuel injection to pump. So black is ground, green and black is positive. Okay, cool. That's what I figured, but okay, so we have the fuel line connected to the pump. We got the wiring connected to the pump. Now when I was putting this together, you can bolt it straight to the side piece here, but it was a little close here, so I went and got the factory bracket, cleaned it up, painted it, and so now it's spaced off. So kind of like the original distance, only a little bit thinner because that other thing was big and fat. That way I didn't have to drill any more holes I won't know until I get everything put back together. I mean, I could go grab the AFM and install it and put the air filter on, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna be okay because the original filter was, you know, like the size of a 55-gallon drum. So this hose connection, since it was loose, it kind of bent to the way it wanted to go, which is fine. I want it like right here. I like that. Now you could just start twisting on this and tightening it up, but then you're going to spin your filter, so you got to go find your metric adjustable wrench, and you want to use it on the same side because this thing pulls apart. So we'll get a test fit. That's pretty good. And then on these, they're all 19 millimeters. When it's tightened up, you're not going to be able to move it anymore unless you're loosening it. And I just saw everything move. So that's not good. Stand by. I won't know until I put fuel on it. And then off of this side, we're going to come off with a 45, which should put us about right here. And then we're going to run line coming back along this back section and into the fuel injection system. But I can't run the line until I get the motor back in and everything hooked back together to get the right length. So we can say this is done. I got to plumb in the bottom. And for that, we're just using regular fuel line with regular fuel injection fittings, only because I want everything to match. So this top section is like 1/2 inch, but the ports on the bottom are bigger. So on the bottom, we're going to be using 7/16 fuel line. And it's just regular soft braided hose on the inside, nylon on the inside. So we're under the car. This is the fuel tank after I cleaned it. It has some sort of, I don't know, rubberized coating on it. I don't know. But this is your return port. It's smaller than your output port. So fuel comes out of here and goes into the fuel pump. And it's not a very long run. This needs to be wiped off. So I'm gonna go a little bit longer, like to right here. And then instead of slicing through this with a utility knife or whatever, I like the cigar cutter because you get a smoother, straighter cut. So there's that. And then we'll take one end off, slide a clamp on, and then we'll clamp it down. So this will be the first video in the running fuel line series. I don't have an engine, so I can't go any further. So this is the factory return hardline. It runs from the fuel tank up to the fuel pressure regulator on the plenum side, and it's filthy. If any of you have ever had to polish a belt buckle, you know what that is. And then the way this doodad goes is it goes behind all of this stuff. And then it's going to clip into this little plastic clip right here. It's going to clip in here. And then clip in back here. Can't see. And then it runs up and, you know, does all sorts of stuff. But I'm going to cut it off about right here. And that's where my soft line's going to take over. And I'm going to run soft line up and around. I probably shouldn't have clipped it in all the way. But I need to mark my spot. And you can put a clamp on there and that'll work just fine. But the ends are crimped, flared. It gives the hose and the clamp something to purchase on. So I'm gonna clamp, or I'm gonna flare this end using this brake line flare kit. So now it's shorter, it should be easier to manipulate. Goes behind the wires, behind the speedometer cable. So this one will be a little bit easier because it's, well, nothing's easy on this fucking car. So we're gonna run that in. I'm going to run that up. I'm going to cut it right here. So now we're all plumbed in on the bottom side. So everything's measured, cut, and it fits. And then now we can install our clamps to make sure nothing leaks. So let me get the clamps and we'll get to that. Okay, so we're going to be using two kinds. These are the crimp-on kind. There's a light. These are the crimp-on kind. Got them off of Amazon. They're stainless. That's why one of the things I wanted was stainless. I don't want them to rust. Hate rust. So it comes with the tool. And then what you do is you pull your hose off, and we know that this is like, you know, 1/2-inch hose, some shit like that. To get the little slider, and we're gonna slide it on. I don't even know which one I grabbed. Not that one, not that one. This one? No, this one. Must have been that one. Let's see if we can step down one. We cannot. This might work. There's not a lot of pressure in this line, but we also shouldn't have to take it off ever. Because it's brand new and shit. And then we grab it like this and give it a squeeze like this. Okay, I like it. That is a good fit. And this one we're going to do the same thing. Push that sucker on there as far as it'll go. Like that. And I would say the only thing wrong with these is you got to cut them off. Which you get good 360 coverage. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. Did you see this one? Nope, you were too close. What about now? Nope, you're still too close. How about now? Yeah, we're up here. Okay, so I gotta get here and here. Now, think about it. What are we gonna have to replace first? Fuel pump. So I don't want to put a crimp up here. I'll put a fuel injection clamp on there. Look at that. It's fucking stuck like Chuck. Good job, buddy. So now we dig around in here and find one to fit this. That's too big. Try this one. Oh, that's a great fit. Yeah, I like it. So we're gonna run this all the way back. So now we're over the hump. As long as I get my tool in there. Yeah. Is my head in the way? Of course. And then we're gonna grab it and crimp it. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, cool. Then we're gonna lube it a little bit with some spit, but I need our next one, which is a screw on, and so these are stainless also. That should be good enough. So there, our fuel into the pump and fuel return to the tank is installed. We got crimp fittings on, and then we have fuel injection fitting up here. We have fuel injection fitting up here, and then when we add fuel we'll check for leaks, but I'm pretty positive all of this is going to be good. Only thing that may give us a little trouble is those AN fittings up there, but that's okay. We'll fix it. So I'm not going to plumb the rest of the fuel system until I get a motor in here. I'll probably run this line, or at least get it on, and just have it hanging and cut it after I get it fitted. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day.